So once we dislodge ourselves from being at the center of the story, we see both that it's weirder, right, that the plants very well could be manipulating the planet to their own ends, but also more positive than we had worried about, because there's all this untapped intelligence that we're only starting to now, perhaps not coincidentally, get glimmers of.
Oh, totally. And you know, I often think about that angle sometimes. Like, you know, first of all, plants are elders, right? They've been here. Sure. They'll be, no matter what happens to the planet and humans, the planet will survive. The plants will flourish.
Yeah.
It's humans that, you know. So I kind of feel like plants are doing a couple of things. They're teaching us to be healthier as humans, but also teaching us to be plants, and also kind of figuring out who's on their side.
Yeah.
So if it all does kind of go, you know, blow up and whatever, it's like, okay, well, so and so was drinking cat's claw, and so and so was into nettles. Okay, they're on the list. You know, they can come with us. And I think too, like, I've had this sort of motto for a while, just like, trust the plants.
Yeah.
You know, trust the plants, learn the plants, drink the plants, trust them. Because what's the worst that could happen if you just totally became a plant? You know, it sounds pretty exciting to me. So yeah, trust the plants. They got some juicy stuff in store.
Well, and again, perhaps not coincidentally, over the past 10 years or so, the scientific community has been awakened to the immense intelligence of plants, right? The phrase plant intelligence doesn't appear in botany between the end of the 19th century, really, like in mainstream botany anyway, right? Between the end of the 19th century, when it was quite common, you know, with a few exceptions here and there, but it was quite common understanding in the history of human beings that plants are intelligent.
Yeah.
It's just only during the modern period, the so-called modern period, that human beings have begun to think that plants were not intelligent, because they don't move, our senses have become atrophied, so we're unable to see what their characteristics are. But in the past 10 years, since we've had the tools of molecular biology to look at plants, you know, it's like that scene in Avatar when, you know, the Sigourney Weaver character, I don't know if you remember, she's looking at the activity of the roots and the plants, and it's blowing her mind. This is based on the real-world mind-blowing results that scientists like Anthony Trewavas has been getting, and many other people who have been publishing like really remarkable evidence of essentially plant sentience, even according to models which once upon a time would have had no truck with that, wouldn't have been able to deal with that. And there's a whole journal, in fact, that's worth looking at called Plant Signaling and Behavior, which is all about the communication strategies both within species and across species, and also, of course, across phyla, because plants are essentially communicating with insects in order to get them to help them reproduce in ways that are now acceptable to the contemporary scientific community. So I think you're absolutely right, both on an intuitive level, trust the plants, right? Surrender to them, learn how to tune your own health through understanding your relation to them, understanding the true nature of your own self, but also trust the plants in terms of where is the knowledge going to come from in order for us to understand our ecosystems. Well, it's going to come from plants, it's going to come from mushrooms, also plants, and it's going to come from bacteria. Those are going to be, you know, the living systems that allow us to continue, well, that have ever allowed us to live on the planet in the first place, but they're going to allow us to continue to live on this planet, you know, as we push it past certain thresholds, right, which we appear to be on the horizon doing. So that symbiotic relationship to ayahuasca and other plants is going to become even more palpable as, you know, we push some of the older aspects of our ecosystem into crisis.
Yeah.
So I think that just shows good sense that we trust the planet.